the director and co-founder of the Fashion Network. I will be chairing today's discussion. Joining me, we have a panel of experts, including Yizhong Zhang, founder of Lecheno, otherwise known as Leo, or should I say Dr. Yizhong Zhang, who is a PhD researcher. He's also involved with a business taking brands from the UK into the Chinese market, and vice versa from the Chinese market into the UK. He's also a live commerce practitioner. So he'll be talking to us a little bit about how live commerce is taking off in China and the wider Asia region. Next to him, we have Aleks Velev, who is influencer marketing manager at Engage Hub. Now, Engage Hub is a marketing service and agency that delivers influencer marketing campaigns and other social media campaigns for various different clients. Alongside Aleks is Lucy Billington, who is Senior Brand Partnership Manager at Gleam Futures. Now, Lucy would work with people like Aleks are developing campaigns for clients. Now, Gleam Futures, forgive me, if you're not familiar, is one of the UK's leading talent management agencies. And then lastly, we have Ted Hettich, marketplace manager at Ideal World. And Ideal World, you could say, is the original live commerce platform, if you like. They're a big TV shopping channel here in the UK. I do believe we have a poll, Scarlett, if you're there in the background, that we would like to get you guys out there in the audience to answer. So just quickly let us know, do you currently engage in live commerce? So it's a pretty simple poll. So it's yes, no, and planning to soon. So while you're doing that, if you could just fill that out for us, I'd just like to do a quick shout out to people who've left comments in there. So hi, Lottie, who's working as live commerce at I Saw It First here in Manchester. Do feel free to drop your comments in there, guys, and let us know where you're at. So we'll leave this go for a second, and there we go. So the results of the poll is majority of our people in the audience aren't doing live commerce at the moment. Aleks, I'm going to come to you first. Does that come as a bit of a surprise to you at all, or?
It doesn't really, based on what we were discussing prior to actually jumping on that. Within Western Europe and the US, live commerce in general is not as developed as it is in China. So I 100% expect for it to become a big thing in the next year in 2022. I do believe that a lot of platforms are going to start adding that as a feature and as a developed feature of their apps within like social media, where the consumer journey is not impacted when you want to purchase a product, because that's one thing that for the listeners we were discussing before we jumped on, is the fact that apps such as Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, within their live capabilities, purchasing products without having to leave the app is currently not really possible. And that impacts a lot of brands not being involved in live shopping, or even what they call live shopping now is not really live shopping, because you can purchase the products.
Do you want to take a step back then and just let us know, then give us an overview then of what live commerce is, if you can. Let's assume that our audience knows nothing. So do you want to just give us a quick overview?
Yeah, absolutely. So live commerce is a new form of online shopping that combines social media live streaming and the ability to shop products while watching the stream. What it really provides is it gives users real-time insights about the products, and you can engage with the audience, which is something that is quite different to online shopping and TV. And normally, as a trend, a live shopping stream lasts between 25 and 30 minutes. That's what research shows is the best engagement time for a live shopping stream. So the person engages with the host, which normally is an influencer that represents the brand very well. That's someone that is actually a consumer of the brand, and products are shown within the stream. And then the consumers can actually shop those products while watching the stream. It is extremely popular in China, as Leo will for sure tell you guys. It is extremely popular in China due to how the platforms work within China, that you can actually shop those products without having to leave the apps themselves. So like with WeChat, with Douyin, you don't need to leave the apps in order to purchase the products. And it's an extremely engaging way. It's a great way for brands to engage with their audience and really communicate about their products, and really like for their brand tone of voice to come across. And it's a great way for influencer marketing to prove that there is return of investment.
Leo, can I bring you in here? Is there anything you would like to add to that? And if not, would you just let us know why you think, and we did speak about this a little bit before we went live, but just tell us a little bit why live commerce has become so big in China at the moment.
Big in China. Okay, actually, for the overview of the live commerce, it's kind of like the direct broadcast to create different live content to guide the traffic and also reach the immediate transaction through the e-commerce or mobile commerce technology. And then in China, the first day is based on the traffic. Because in China, there are a couple of ways doing the live commerce. First is the e-commerce platform, like the Tmall, Taobao, Jingdong, as like the Amazon. So a lot of consumers shopping on the Amazon, on the Taobao, and then they offer the live commerce technology. So that's why people can use their mobile phone to browse the product through the Taobao, and then you can directly click on the live commerce influencer who presenting the products. So that is one way. The another way is based on the mobile instant messaging tool, like the WhatsApp and the WeChat, because a lot of people using that daily, every day. And then you can connect with the shopping platform, and there's one button or a link to guide to a live commerce directly. Then you can see the short videos as well as live commerce content through the WeChat or WhatsApp. I know WhatsApp don't have one, but WeChat have one. So that is another way, the second way. And then the third way is the live streaming platform. But on that platform, because a lot of people as a host only doing the live show on that platform, mostly entertainment and the gaming stuff. But some people will put their link on playing a game, a Taobao link, a store link, when they're playing a game, because they have millions fans seeing they're playing the game at that time, so they can click on that link to their Taobao store, and mostly they're selling the grocery products. So that is the third way. And then the fourth way is the short video channel, the TikTok, and also the Douyin and TikTok. Millions fans, people are browsing the short video channel every day, and they spend more than 2 hours every day on that channel, because in China it is the most fast growing channel. The speed is faster than the WeChat. The growing speed is faster than the WeChat, and also the WhatsApp, I think. And also the TikTok, they beat the Facebook, the growing rate. So a lot of fans on that channel. And TikTok, the main company named the ByteDance company, they grow their own e-commerce platform. So they have two ways on the short video channel. The short video channel can connect to the Taobao link now, or they can complete the transaction directly through their own e-commerce platform named the Douyin store. So that is the fourth way in China can do it, mostly based on the traffic. Yeah.
So it sounds to me then what you're saying in China, that the technical infrastructure is just far more set up to allow a live commerce to happen, basically.
Yeah.
Whereas perhaps we're a little bit playing catch up here in the UK and in Europe. Before we went live, also Ted mentioned something. Actually, I don't know if you want to bring this up now, Ted, but the cultural issues between, say, China and the UK. Ted was suggesting that perhaps North America and Europe were a little bit more celebrity led. Would you agree with that, Leo, or do you think it's just down to?
I think so. Yeah, sure. I think so. Because I live in UK for such a long time, and I know that there's a bit of the culture difference. But I think another important role is that the Chinese companies, they have better innovation on the applications, the app applications, like the social media applications. Because normally Facebook comes first, and then we have a lot of forms of the similar to Facebook. But later on, we are doing a better on the localization. and then we transfer to a better way to fit the local consumers or the local users in China. And then because of a lot local users in China, because we have 1.3 or 1.4 billion people. So too many people browsing that site, and then we can have a better innovative application on that. Then that is a difference, I think. Another kind of difference, yeah.
And Ted, or Theodore, as you're listed here, what's the difference between, like, we're talking about live commerce, which is influencer-led, and what you guys have been doing for years and years with TV shopping?
Yeah, I mean, Ted's fine, by the way, too. So yeah, we've been doing TV shopping. I mean, naturally was popular in the US, I think originally back in the early 90s. And it really is pretty much the same from when it was first developed with like Home Shopping Network, QVC, and Ideal World in UK. Primarily where people are watching a TV show, watching, let's say, a 30-40 minute spot. And then originally was through the telephone. So where you would actually punch in and dial in the code to the product through the telephone. We still have that, by the way, and it's still very popular way to actually shop. And then as the internet came around in the early 2000s and moved into the mid 2000s, people started actually redirecting to the web and then buying online too. And on actually Ideal World, you can actually live stream the TV broadcast coming through on the actual web page as well too, but it's not as popular as the television shopping.
And are there sort of skills now that are just easily transferable for you guys that, you know, that you can take from your TV?
One thing that's really cool there is that we've turned actually one of the TV studios into a digital studio. So we've actually dedicated it completely to digital. And we're starting to see that the Facebook sites, Instagram sites on our web, on the web, are actually getting more popular every year. As naturally, the generation that grew up with TV shopping is actually getting older as well. They do have a lot of money, so it still is a large chunk of our annual revenue. But we are starting to see more and more going to the web, and that's one of the reasons why we incorporated a marketplace into it to bring in third-party sellers, and then also showcase those sites on the web. And as we move and transition into live shopping on the web based.
Lucy, I was talking to one of your colleagues a while back, and I can't remember who it was now, but they were saying that they see the future of influencer marketing as basically influencers becoming mini shopping channels. Do you get a sense of that with some of the talent that's on your roster, that's what's happening, or is there a bit of a divide, or can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Absolutely. I mean, talent can shift product insanely well, and I think that's down to the amazing relationship they have with their audiences. This is something we were talking about earlier, but their audiences know them so well to the point where they know what's in their living room, they know what's sat in their shower, they see their vlogs, they see their Instagram content. They're so heavily involved in their audiences. But I think when it comes to live shopping, and again, this is something we spoke about earlier, but there are certain platforms that aren't as up to date with the likes of China. So I think the more they adapt to the live shopping premise, and I know with TikTok especially, they're probably the most up to date when it comes to live shopping. And I think having seen lots of brands do that so successfully on there, for example, one of our talent, Flossie Clegg, went live on TikTok with a brand called Picante recently and did really well on there. But I think the talent have such a unique relationship with their audiences and therefore have a great ability to be able to shift product because their audience knows them so well. So I think also with live shopping, when it comes to influencers, it doesn't necessarily just have to be that sort of talk to camera, more live shopping, traditional piece of content. It can be much more integrated into their normal styles. So whether that's like they're doing a live podcast recording and then the live shopping function is sort of integrated within that, or perhaps they're doing a live demo with another talent where they could be doing like a live hair tutorial or like a live shop along or cook along. It doesn't necessarily just have to be a complete talk to camera hard sell piece of content. And I think that's the difference between influencers and perhaps more traditional tele shopping type talent, is those audiences need to make sure that when they are live shopping, it is really natural to them and their normal styles. And I think that's where they'll do really well, is they know what their audience wants to see and what they want to shop. But yeah, I think the potential for talent is amazing when it comes to live shopping. But I think there's a fine line between the type of talent. Some talent much prefer to do Instagram stories and kind of stay away from that live format. You have to be quite confident when it comes to live. We have certain talent that present in the more traditional space. So Nadia Swahala, for example, is one of our talent. She's on Loose Women. So she naturally knows how to present. It's the bread and butter of what she does, but she's also amassed an amazing following online and has an incredible personality. So I think somebody like that, when it comes to live shopping, would do amazingly well because she has that amazing presenting ability, but also that really unique audience. To be able to combine the two together is kind of, I guess, that sweet spot for something like this.
How important, and this can go to anyone, actually, I don't want to just put Lucy on the spot on this one, but how important is the live aspect of this as opposed to just something that's delivered through video? I mean, Aleks, you posed to answer that one.
Yeah, if we look at, I think Lucy mentioned a few really important bits here. First of all, because we were discussing why live shopping has not become as popular within Western Europe, and we did mention the thing about the platforms, that it's not incorporated within the platforms as such to that extent in which it is in China. But one thing that we need to discuss here is also the difference between consumption of content between China and Western Europe and the US, because I think what Lucy mentioned here, that the content shouldn't look as a hard sell of products, is something that is really important to be touched upon here, because I think in China, consumption of content, that hard selling of the products is actually interesting to the consumer, and that's the way that they interact with the influencer, and they enjoy that type of content. But within Western Europe and within the US, that's not as much. So with influencer marketing in Western Europe and the US, it's all about like authenticity. It's all about like incorporating the brand within the influencer's content in a very organic and authentic way. And
can I bring Leo in on that point? Leo, can I just ask you, do you agree with that? Is from the content perspective, are things quite different over in China as opposed to what Aleks has just said?
Okay, I think for the content part, for doing a live commerce for a stable, such a long way, for example, we run it every day or maybe 6 times a week. So the content, that's highly standard of the content, because when we try to doing the live commerce, we have to prepare the product side, and then also we need to prepare the supply chain, the products, and then we need to prepare everything. And then we need to make the content slightly different every day, then to attract the consumers to come every day, not only for the products. So sometimes we need to show a little bit, but mostly based on the product. Yeah, it is right. But because based on the different channel, for example, the TikTok or the Douyin, the technology behind that is the AI. So they will use the figures and the data to choose to push you the relative consumers you have. For example, Burberry or Louis Vuitton, say, for example, they're running it. So the platform will try to find the relative consumers to you. So what figures can lead to let the computer to find the relative consumer is really important. So we have to do the transaction. So the immediate transaction figures is really, really important. So for example, when I'm showing the one product, Louis Vuitton product, and then 5 people buying it, for example, in 1 hour, and then they spend about £10,000 in total, then the AI technology will try to find the similar consumers to push to you to continue doing the sales, and then you can gain the fans. You can get the follower of the fans to follow you directly through that live commerce show, or you can get the direct consumers who purchasing the products directly. So that is a really high standard of the content, because you need to prepare every day. Not only if you have 1,000 people seeing you at one time, but your sales is 0, it will lead to a really bad situation on the traffic gaining. So that is another logic of doing the live commerce. So we have to prepare a lot of things.
And this one maybe still to Leo or maybe Aleks is, can you break up different types of live commerce? Is there different sort of like, how can I put it? And the different types of live commerce in the sense of what you deliver and how you deliver it. I don't know who wants to pick that up.
Okay, so so I can say that for different types of commerce, I can talk about the mostly two main popular forms of the live commerce. One is, you can imagine, Amazon plus live shopping channel. So you join the Amazon and you see one host is showing like it's just describing 10 different brands of TV. 10 different brands of TV and showing the functions of it or how to play it. So you can click on that and then see it. So that traffic way is you click on the Amazon website or mobile app first, and then you see one guy is describing something. And then you can see, so it depends on the strategy of the Amazon, how to run the live commerce. So in Taobao, there's a specific channel. You can click on that. You can see a lot hosts showing different types of the products or we can say different topics or different contents. Maybe someone or specific on the electronic goods, someone on the luxury goods, someone on the maybe lower price clothings. So it's kind of based on the e-commerce. Another is based on the social media channel. So we can talk about the TikTok first, because I know TikTok is already complete the e-commerce or mobile commerce technology in UK. They're already pushing it. So it's kind of the influencer who have a million fans can start doing the live commerce technology, and then they have to find the brands who have the store on the TikTok, so they can get linked, and then they can show the product, and they can only get one product, and the brands can deliver the product to them, and they can that just describe 10 items for the display. And then the brands, when they get the orders directly to the brand store on the TikTok, and then the brands sends the order to the consumers directly. So it's kind of the influencers help the brand to promote the brand. That is one thing on the short video channel. Another is the brand builds their self live commerce team. So it's kind of they doing the live commerce every day by themselves. So they can doing the influencers or they can build their own host to doing the live commerce. That is a two-way currently in UK.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got the brands doing more sales focused content, 10 TVs, this is a comparison or whatever, and then you have more lifestyle based content that is maybe just showing a lifestyle that has products and things in the background. So that's I suppose the difference. And I guess I just want to bring Ted in on this, obviously. So Ted, what you do is what is quite different to what Lucy and Aleks set up. Obviously, you are a brand, aren't you? I guess in a way.
Yeah, and it's really in a professional setting, like in a studio setting. So we're broadcasting from Peterborough almost 24 hours a day. And what we're doing is actually a studio shot with sets. And I do think that the influencer marketing does have a bit more of a gritty feel to it. And I think people do trust that grit in a way, and they find it more realistic. They find it more in touch to what a lot of people are. It's more truthful in a way, whereas the stuff produced in Peterborough is very much in a studio, and it is very much in exactly.
Lucy, do you agree with that influencer content's more grittier, if you like, or
I guess it's a bit more raw, I guess, in the sense, especially with the more Gen Z type talent. I think they are all they want. That's why TikTok has become so popular, I think, in the UK, especially amongst Gen Z talent, is they don't want the more polished look when it comes to branded content anymore. They want the real, genuine, authentic style. And I think as we said earlier, if talent are going to be working with brands in a live shopping capacity, then it needs to make sure that it is in their own style and in their own natural way. Certain talent will work really well in that more polished way, especially we were talking earlier about the more presenting type talent. And I think having them collaborate with a brand in that way, if that's what the brand want, then that's great. And I think that still could work really well. There will be certain brands who will be a bit less inclined to want to fully trust the talent in a live format to begin with. I think they still like to have some level of control over what that looks like. So I think for certain talent in a more polished environment, that can still work really well. But I think the majority of talent will probably do it more so in their own typical style, just to make sure, because that's what their audience are used to and that's what their audience likes. So I think that style is a lot more suited, especially to the more younger generation of talent.
Yeah, and exactly. I think it's a fine balance of being cheesy and being like that 90s style, like, oh, we're gonna put this in front of you in front of a studio. Yeah. And like you said, that like that younger generation, they want to have what they're used to. They want to have that delivered to them in the way that they want to. And I think that's why like the TV shopping has that older generation, because it's the same kind of thing. They're appealing to the generation that's used to that way of shopping.
Principle's the same, right? With the
exactly.
in principle. Speaking of which, though, Aleks, just going back to this live feed, sort of just video content, do you have any sort of like data or stats to say that when we do something live, we get a better sales through as opposed to just somebody putting out content that's, you know, recorded and delivered on, whether it's social or on TV or whatever it might be?
So in terms of that, obviously with like live shopping and live streaming in general, you get real engaged audience. So if you post something on social and you get impressions, you get reach, but that might be people just scrolling through the feed and then they don't really, for example, if it's a Reels video or if it's an in-feed video on Instagram, people don't watch through the whole thing. They're just going to scroll out and that's going to count as an impression. But the proving of whether that's a real engaged user that's going to convert into a potential consumer for the brand is a bit of a guessing game. You can understand by the comments with intent to buy. Obviously, like swipe up links on Instagram stories were great, but with live streaming in general, that's real engaged audience that you can see going through the video, watching the video the whole time and being engaged, asking questions, and those questions being answered by the influencer. So for example, here we are like 27 people or like 100 people are watching, and that's real engaged audience that's staying throughout.
Ask some questions, guys.
And it's also, as Lucy mentioned, with the selection of the talent, that's a great tip for brands to think about. If you're doing a live streaming content or live shopping content, you really need to think about which influencer, which creator you are selecting for this, because this is a live video. So a mistake can kind of be really bad for the brand and the creator themselves. And I have had experiences like that with creators that are promoting a specific brand. Sometimes they say something that they shouldn't say, mention a competitor or something like that, and that looks really bad on the brand. So it's about selecting people that are comfortable within that live setting, because a lot of influencers can shoot an amazing video, edit it out, and it can look great on the feed. But when they're put in a position where there's not really redoing of the content, you say something and the 1,000 people watching you, or like the 20,000 people watching you are there, they hear it. So there's no redoing of that. So brands should really think about who they're selecting to represent their brand, because then it becomes a question of the tone of voice of the brand, about whether that person is a good ambassador for the brand or not. It's not about a one-off partnership. Then it's about like someone that becomes an embodiment of your brand and is speaking about your products and is promoting your products.
So it's a different art, basically what you're saying. Something's recorded and put out anytime, and something like what we're doing now, which is live. I suppose what we're describing here is an event, really, aren't we? It just happens to be a digital event, you know, and that's probably the difference there. I wanted to move on to my next question, and I'll keep the mic with you if that's okay, Alex. Just talk us a little bit about developing a sort of a live commerce strategy then. And we've done a lot of these webinars about, you know, influencer marketing in general and how you set up influencer marketing strategy. But just tell us a little bit about how you do set up a live commerce strategy. And I'll come to Leo next after that.
Well, when looking at the live shopping strategy, or you have to first define what are the goals of this. Obviously, if it's like live shopping, you're going to look at the sales as one of the key metrics and conversions. So you have to define exactly the expectations of what you want to achieve within that live stream, within that live shopping experience. Then obviously look at things such as, like, let's say, brand awareness, whether you want to grow your channel on a certain platform that live streaming experience is going to be hosted on. And from that on, defining those KPIs, you can take a step back and build out a strategy based on the brand really answering those questions for themselves. With conversions, obviously, there will be like unique links posted. For example, if it's a Twitch video, that can be pinned on the chat and people can shop. From there on, you can track specific conversions that are within that stream. There's platforms such as AppsFlyer, Bitly that can track clicks. Then on, like, we can track conversions of people that actually of the consumer journey, and also people that purchase those products throughout that live stream. And of course, then we can move on to tracking that brand awareness, how much the account of the brand has grown. And of course, again, I have to mention tone of voice here, because it's really important when working with the influencer. Like, what message do you really want communicated? Like, which products are we promoting on this live stream? What is exactly being mentioned about the brand? What are the key messages that need to be conveyed? And from then on, the strategy can be built, and the reporting of the successes of that strategy can be made on, and key learning can be extracted.
Brilliant. We've got an interesting comment here actually from Lottie, and this is going back to our previous point about engagements on live commerce. And she says you have to be able to easily ignore certain comments and engage with others during our lives. The interaction with customers is key. I see you're nodding away there, Aleks.
It's 100%. Obviously, like with live streaming and live shopping as well, there's a lot of comments coming through. I have been involved in campaigns where influencers have taken over the Instagram channels of a certain brand and had a discussion between each other, and a lot of comments are coming in. Obviously, if it's about like a certain brand and the aspect is to promote certain products, the questions that the influencer needs to be focusing on should be revolving around the brand itself, because it could be a lot of random comments coming in that are not about the brand and are specific about the influencer, the creator themselves, and something personal about them. Of course, it's great to engage those questions as well in order to create that emotional spark, in order to create that relatability with your audience. But when the key messaging is promoting a certain product or promoting a certain brand, the questions that need answering the most are those questions regarding that brand.
Yeah, I've seen some shocking engagements from brands, not necessarily in the fashion industry, but I've seen some shocking engagements on brands on social in the past. On the question then of developing a strategy, Leo, I'm going to come back to you on this. So can you just tell us a little bit about how you develop a live commerce strategy and whether it differs to what Aleks has just said?
Okay, so basically for the live commerce strategy, there's two ways we can thinking of. The first one is, for example, for the metro brands who already have their own website, web store, and also the mobile app. They can thinking about whether they on their mobile app they develop a mobile commerce section, and then to do that. So for that kind, if they're doing that, it's a new kind of the consumer interaction, and they offer a live service, like kind of. So that is one way. Another way is they need to choose the platform. So that platform definitely have the higher traffic. So if they choose that platform, for example, the TikTok,
the brands choose, or do the influencers choose? Sorry,
so the brands choose the. So we start from the brand. So if the brand choose the platform, how they they can open their official account on the TikTok, and then they promote some content on that. And then if they doing that way, they need to think about whether they open their own TikTok store, like flagship TikTok store, and then connect with the TikTok account directly if the technology is available, or they can use that TikTok account for the link to their app or link to their web. So if the TikTok is the mobile app, so it's kind of you need to on TikTok first, and then connect to the app, jump to the app, and then complete the transaction. That will cost the consumers lose during that way. So mostly the brands will choose to open a flagship store on the TikTok. So that way, some brands don't want to do that. For example, Burberry open a store on the Amazon, whether they want to do that, if the Amazon can offer the live commerce technology. So the brands need to choose how to do that. If the brands choose the influencers to do that business, for the sales, actually, they still need to think, they still have to face whether they open the store on the TikTok or jump to the app. So that is the way, because normally a lot of brands, they open the flagship Douyin. The Douyin store is a Chinese version of TikTok. They open that store directly. So it means that all the sales is not from their own web store directly, but it's from the Douyin store, but they run it. So that is the one strategy that the brand need to think of. So when they choose, if they open the TikTok store, then they can choose to build their own host, to build own live team or live commerce team, or they ask the influencer to do that. That is similar. So when you see the one influencer who have the similar, maybe the attitude, maybe connect with the brand, they can choose one, like brand ambassadors, like the TikTok ambassadors. Then you can choose that one, and then let her to maybe present the brand, and then maybe 1 week a time to spend the commissions or maybe the basket fee. Because sometimes in China, the influencers who have million fans, they will offer their basket. For example, they show 10 items in the basket, and then one item costs maybe 3,000 pounds for 2 hours. And then when they sell them, they can get the commission as also, but that kind of cost is really high. So my suggestion is to build the live commerce by itself, because we can do the TikTok with the app directly at the same time if the technology can achieve that.
You've rather seamlessly moved on to my next question there, Neil, which is about costs, actually. I was going to ask Lucy, bring Lucy in on this, actually. With some of the talent you work with, do costs different for a live commerce campaign as opposed to what, quote unquote, traditional influencer marketing campaign?
It totally varies. And I know Aleks and I were speaking about this earlier, but there is no set fee when it comes to something like this. Fees will completely vary depending on the talent, similarly to how it does on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Live is going to be a very similar format. And I think it depends on the talent. Certain talent can have 1 million+ followers, whereas some can have 20,000 followers. So when we cost up these sort of things, we base it on obviously their following, their profile, their demand, the level of production that is involved in that. So obviously, if it is a very polished brand shoot that involves production, scripting, tech support, all of those things, and obviously the fee will be much higher than it would be if it was just one standalone TikTok live stream that involves a brand and it's a one-off. So I guess it depends on what that package looks like and what talent are involved in it. I wish I could say it's a really easy answer and it will cost you X amount of money, but it isn't as easy as that. But I guess fees can vary from anything from £1,000 to £2,000 upwards of like £50,000 plus, depending on that talent. Because obviously you have to factor in their selling ability and everything like that as well. And I know Leo mentioned this, but there's also affiliates that you can include within those platforms as well. So not only will the talent get a flat fee for doing those live streams, but they'll also get a percentage of the commission involved of the sales that they make. which is obviously a great incentive for the talent as well when they're doing those live streams, to make sure that they are engaging and selling and making sure that they've got an engaged audience there. And I know for us, especially, something we really encourage brands to do is offer some sort of discount code uniquely for that live stream, because then you can ask your talent to kind of pre-warn them that they'll be going live on X date at X time on X channel, and there'll be a unique discount code purely for that live stream, and then their audiences are pre-prepared to know that if they tune in, they'll get a discount on that certain product. So it totally varies depending on the talent and what that package looks like. But I guess,
and what's the attitude, do you think, from a lot of talent? Do they want, I mean, obviously everybody wants to get paid up front, but do a lot of want a bit of a, like what Leah was saying, they want a bit of the sales margin as well? Is there a bit of both, do you think? Or
it varies, similar to traditional partnerships as well. I know, sorry, I'm like, it just depends. It does, like certain talent will work with fashion brands, for example, where there'll be a flat fee, and they'll get, if they've done an edit with that brand, for example, they'll get commission of sales. We obviously just need to ensure that the fee is beneficial for that talent and the brand. We obviously take in so many factors when it comes to costing up that sort of thing. But I think for something that is very sales driven, as opposed to a more awareness piece where it makes sense for it to just be a flat fee for their involvement, when it's something that's purely KPI based on sales, then I think it does often make sense for there to be some sort of commission level involved in that as well.
so it's almost like what marketeers call above the line and below the line marketing, really, isn't it? One's targeted on shifting product, the other might be a bit more awareness. I was going to just bring Ted in on this one. I know from an old school point of view, if you don't mind me saying it that way, what's your model then? I mean, you kind of operate as a TV channel, a retailer. Obviously, you've launched the marketplace now. I mean, what's the model there?
So there
work like
is
influencers?
there is a commission-based model involved. Normally, it has to do with a certain percentage cut that's agreed upon between the brand and an Ideal World. Or we do have, let's say it's a new brand, where Ideal, in this kind of the same facet, where they don't really have, the brand is new, they want an exposure piece, they can actually underwrite a show, and they could buy the airtime as well. So it depends. It really, like as Lucy mentioned, it does depend on the situation. But we do try to tailor an approach for a brand to basically looking at a really what's best for the brand and what's best for Ideal World in that situation. So it's a tailored approach.
Okay, we're into the last quarter now of the session, guys. So if any of you out there have any questions or any further comments, do feel free to keep them coming. My next question, though, is I just wanted to get an idea, and this is to anybody on the panel here, who's doing it well out there at the moment from a brand point of view, but also from an influence or content creator point of view. Who'd like to pick that up? Who's doing it well at the moment?
I don't mind jumping in from an influence perspective.
Feel free.
When it comes to the UK, and I know we've touched on this a lot in this session, but I think we are a lot further behind than China is. And I think at the moment, brands are just sort of dipping their toes into it. So I wouldn't say there is any kind of like hero brand or hero talent who are absolutely the OGs in that space at the moment. A good example of something that we touched on before this session is that in China, there's somebody called Lipstick King, who famously sold, I think, $1.7 billion worth of product during a 12-hour live stream. So that's just one 12-hour live stream, which I think, again, differs in the UK. I don't think there's many influencers out there who would want to live stream for that amount of time. And I don't really think the UK audiences would tune in for that amount of time. But that's just a really great example of somebody who is absolutely nailing it in another country. I think brands are doing it well on TikTok. I saw it first. I know Lottie's on here. I see them often on TikTok. Similarly with Look Fantastic and the Hut Group and people like that. But again, I think it really comes down to the talent, and a couple of our talent, I know I mentioned Flossie earlier. We also had one of our talent, Olivia Neal, go live on TikTok with Motel Rocks. That actually didn't have the live stream shopping function tuned in at that time. And in hindsight, it would have been the perfect concoction to do that. And I think moving forwards, that's something we'll obviously implement into our strategies. But again, they had a unique discount code for Halloween that her audience were pre-prepared to go and tune in, and they'd all get a unique discount code for Halloween. And the sales did amazingly well, and clothing that she promoted in that live stream sold out as a result. But again, that was very in Olivia's true style. It was her and a friend, Kate, and they were doing a Q&A sat in a home sort of setting, and it wasn't a full-on sales sell. It was a chat that they tried on clothing, and it was very natural. Feel free for anybody else to chip in, but I don't think at the moment there's any particular brand or talent who's really heroing that space yet. But I imagine next year that absolutely will be, but we're still a bit more behind at the moment.
You're nodding there ferociously there, Aleks. Do you want to chip in?
Yeah.
Anyone?
No, I mean, I agree with absolutely everything that Lucy said. I think that no brand is like jumping out of like the book right now to like point out and be like they're doing amazing things with this. I think everybody's kind of like in the phase of like test and learn with this feature, and I think like within the next year we're going to see a lot of brands kind of like incorporate this and try to innovate and find new ways into which they can incorporate live shopping within their strategy, and live streaming as well. I think live streaming is something that we saw gain popularity during COVID, during the lockdown. I think we saw a lot of like influencers kind of like blow up because of this. And obviously people were bored at home, so they were like watching a lot more live streams. They felt like engaged with the influencers because it's happening live. You can communicate with your favorite creators. I think like brands such as, for example, like Louis Vuitton working with creators on Twitch. I think that's a bit of a different angle of approaching it, with a very high-end fashion brand working with gamers to promote their products and to show products on like streams. I think that's a smart strategy. I think it's different, just to like kind of highlight that. But I don't think that any brand within the UK, within Western Europe, is really jumping out of the page currently.
Anybody else on this? Leo, have you got any comment? Or Ted, gone, you're off mute.
Oh no, I was going to say too, similar to what we were mentioning earlier. With I think celebrities are going to play a real big role here in the West, especially as we have the largest market for sports, the largest markets for Hollywood film production, and I think these guys really have the natural following, and it kind of is something that when you have the tech and you have like that kind of just follower base, I think when it merges together, that will, I think on our side of the pond and on our side, and especially in the US and UK, I think will really start to pick up, and those guys.
When you say your side of the pond, I know you're in Germany.
So yeah, I'm in Germany. I'm thinking of my American hat on. Sorry. No,
Okay,
I think that these guys will definitely lead the charge in terms of influencer marketing in the United States and in Europe.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fascinating as well when obviously a lot of talent and celebrities now have their own product lines. So I think that's another avenue for them to be able to promote their own brands that they've been working on. I think at the moment, a lot of talent are working alongside brands, but they're not necessarily promoting their own brands. So I think that can be a really interesting thing that we'll probably see a lot in the future, is seeing how influencers take something like live shopping to promote their own personal brands as well. And I think for as you're saying, especially sort of more celebrity and I guess the more high-end influencers who do have a very established product line, I think that can be fascinating and something that I'll probably imagine will skyrocket in the next coming, well, I say months to years. It depends how quickly I guess it takes off, but I think that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
I was about to say that I was just about to mention about, like, for example, products such as like brands such as like Kylie Cosmetics that was built like entirely on social media and reliant on social media, also live streaming. And I think we're going to see more and more influencers, if not build their own brands, become like the brand ambassadors, the BAs of like large brands, and really push products within the live shopping features of the platforms once they get developed to that extent. And I think that's what we're going to see more and more of, which is kind of going to move influencer marketing away from that one-off, like, we're going to work on a campaign with you and then we're going to work with like 10 other people afterwards. It's going to become a lot more finding the right creator for the right brand and tying the brand with the creator themselves.
I'd like to bring Leo as well in on this question. So I just want to get a sense of who's doing it well, brands wise and influencers, both in China. But it'd be interesting to get your perspective about who's doing it outside of China well. One comment you did say, Leo, that was really interesting before, I did make a note of it, was you mentioned the brand launching a flagship store on TikTok. I thought that was a really interesting comment, actually, because that throws into question what the hell is retail anymore. So that's a very interesting comment. I might pick you up with later and do some articles with you if that's okay. But just going back to this question, though, who do you think is doing it well, both in China and also outside in Europe and North America?
Okay, so in China, also for the TikTok, because the live commerce starts from, I say about the short video channel, TikTok first, because the people like to browse the short video first, and then TikTok has millions of fans, followers to use the TikTok. And then they create some influencers who have millions of friends. And then they open the live commerce. So definitely the influencer first. But brands can follow to do that as well. Because in China, I know for the Lucy mentioned for the lipstick king, and there's another queen, sales queen. That two guys can achieve really, really high sales for the whole Taobao market. But this is not really healthy. You can see like normally for Amazon, a lot sellers, more products, more operations, and then more flexible for the consumers for their options to choose the products. And there will be a healthy competition on the Taobao platform. But now, two influencers can get really, really high sales, but a lot of sellers cannot get healthy development on the Taobao platform. So that is not really, really healthy. So in later on, brands had to build their own live commerce. But now there are not a lot of brands doing it really well. But whether the Alibaba Group or TikTok, they don't want top influencer to achieve the top sales, to get the top sales from the brands. They want more influencers as well as the brands to operate it. So it's kind of, if you have more followers, then maybe you don't have really, really the top traffics. They will limit kind of traffic. For example, if they give you all the traffics, it will lose the balance on the whole platform. So definitely on the company who hosts or who develops that the TikTok or the Taobao, they won't let the influence to control the whole platform. So they will definitely balance it. Then they offer a really good opportunity for the brand to engage with the consumers, like they can build their own host. So before that, because we are doing the live commerce by ourselves, so before that, we are really struggling, like whether we need to find some influencer to do that, or we do it by ourselves, because we are scared we doing that and no followers will come. But the TikTok platform, they offer the opportunity for every normal person who has a dream to do live commerce. So when you do that, they'll give you the traffic. So it means when a brand want to do that, when they can close, they choose to close to the consumers, then the TikTok platform will give you the traffic, and then you can gain your own consumers on the TikTok. So it means there will be opportunity for the brand, but now the influence better. Yeah.
Is there anyone like over here in Europe you think is worth mentioning there at the moment, or brand or influencer, or not perhaps? Aleks is shaking his head up there.
Well,
I know you're Bulgarian, so I'm not sure if you're saying yes or no.
No, I'm saying no. I'm saying no. I think like it's again based on what me and Lucy were discussing earlier on, the fact that nobody's like really jumping out of the page. Like we did mention a few brands. Lucy did mention a few creators that have worked with live shopping as well, but I think it's just very early days in order to really point out at someone and be like, that's the person that's going to really push products, and that's the person that's like really doing amazing things for like this brand.
Okay. So we're coming towards the end of the session now, and my colleague has just popped a little link in the chat box myself and the fellow panelists are going to be meeting in just a normal Zoom meeting, but you are welcome to come and join us there for 15-20 minutes, give you an opportunity to, I guess, talk to us on a bit more of a one-to-one basis. So that's open to everybody who is listening to this now in this webinar. You're more than welcome to join us there. Just copy that link, and then if you just click on it immediately after we shut this down, you'll be able to come and join with us. We'll be just there as we are now, talking about the session, but in perhaps a little bit more informal environment. What we're trying to do is recreate the glass of wine at the bar after the event thing. It's really difficult to do in the virtual world, but we'll do our best. You're welcome, Gina. So just for my last question then, so the future, what's the future look like of live commerce? Aleks, I can see you're itching to go on that one. What's the future look like in the next 3 to 5 years?
I think the future within the next, I would say 3 to 5 years would be, first of all, platforms such as Instagram, YouTube, Facebook really crack down on that feature and really build it out where you can shop. You can have your online shop within the platform, and then you can shop while watching the live stream without having to exit the platform to purchase the products. With one click of a button, you add it to your basket, you check out, and that product is shipped to you. In terms of kind of looking at it from an influencer marketing perspective, I think what we're going to see is, first of all, brands really working on a more brand ambassador level with influencers that are going to be promoting those products.
Long term, you mean? Longer term.
Yeah. I'm speaking tying themselves up on a yearly basis with certain creators that are going to promote their products. Obviously, that's going to take a bit of a test and learn approach to seeing who the right creators are, who are those creators that match the tone of voice of the brand, who are those creators that actually prove ROI, that prove sales of the products. And then I think what this is going to lead influencer marketing to is an even more data-led approach, where looking at those metrics and looking at actual conversions and sales, and as Leo mentioned, basket value, which a lot of brands are doing now, but I believe with live shopping, it's going to become more of a thing where during the live stream, you know exactly the number of sales that person has brought to your brand.
Is that not what they call a retailer in old money?
Yes, in a way. And I think in terms of Western Europe, it's going to become a lot more about how that live shopping experience can be incorporated inconspicuously within the influencer's content, within a live stream, not really pushing the product in the face of the consumer.
Okay, just to grasp the other three quickly, I'll start with you, Leo. What's the future look like, in your opinion, of live commerce? If you can give us a quick 30-second rundown.
Okay, so for me, just a short imagination, I think it's more like the interest or the recommendation based for the shopping, but instead of the search engine, search browse, the traditional e-commerce shopping, and more close to the consumers. That's my opinion.
Ted, we'll come to you next. Future looking like for you? You're going to end up merging with influencers.
Yeah, exactly. I think your old money, your old retailers will still play a role. I think they'll definitely be more of an aggregator in a way, and move more towards providing product to the entertainers or the live shopping hosts in a way. And I think as we move more to that, it'll move even more towards entertainment, where the influencers are actually providing that live entertainment piece, and the retailers being more in the background as being aggregators,
like logistics people.
Yeah, exactly.
In a way. Right, okay. And Lucy, you can have the last word here. Then just let us know what you think the future looks like in this space.
Mine's a bit of a mix of everyone's, but I think brands at the moment are a bit nervous, obviously, to take the first leap, because not many brands are doing it. But I think the more and more they do that, and the more metrics and results they see off the back of doing it, will mean that they'll be more reluctant to more wanting to do it, because they'll see the results that they see. As Aleks said, brands are becoming more and more savvy to wanting actual benchmarks, KPIs, results, data. So I think live shopping is the perfect thing for us to be able to present back to brands and say, okay, well, they live stream with this brand, got this amount of sales. I think it's going to be fascinating from an influencer perspective. And I think we're going to see a lot more talent doing it once, I guess, platforms, as we keep saying, adopt to that. We may even see a new wave of influencers who purely become big off the back of live shopping. So that might be something else to watch out for, whether or not there's a certain talent who purely grows a following just off of live shopping. Obviously there'll be influencers who do it as well, but yeah, I think it will just continue to see it rise, and it's a really exciting time for everybody to get involved in it, because it's going to skyrocket, I think.
Watch this space, I think, is the one. It's been really fascinating, guys. I really appreciate your insights. Like I said, if anybody out there in the audience wants to come and join us quickly, I'm sorry, Miranda, we won't have a chance to answer your question in this session, but you're more than welcome to join us immediately after. The link is there. We'll be having a quick debrief, and you'll be able to come and chat to us and just listen to us talk for about 15-20 minutes, and you'll get to meet the panelists. The only thing we would ask is, if you don't mind, if you can pop your microphone and camera on as well, so we can see who's in the room. So hopefully we'll see you, some of you guys in the audience, with us in a few moments. For those new to the Fashion Network, we run lots and lots and lots of professional development events. So if you're not already linked in with us, best place to find us on social is, obviously being a business platform, is on our LinkedIn page. Come and follow us on there, or you can go to our website, which is thefashionnetwork.co.uk, and you can join our networking community there, and you'll hear about our future professional development events on there. So just without further ado, just want to thank all you guys for your insights today, and I will see you shortly in the breakout room shortly after this. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.